such a, a thankless cause in a lot of ways, although I know it's been very dear to him. And Roy, as everyone waited in anticipation for his speech to find out why he does this, and his simple comment was because it feels good. And with everyone sitting there waiting for this great speech, and that was it. It was really kind of interesting. I learned a lot from that, and I think I've sort of taken that to heart and have followed in those footsteps.
I think that you have, and like I said before, we are really proud of Dean and everything that he's done. And in addition to that, he also is a soccer referee and a coach, a soccer coach. So he's done so many things for the community, and it is all making a difference to all of us. Dean, one of the things we want to talk about, because we are really a real estate show, so we've gotten through on some of the things that are important to us, but it's also good. Dean and I this morning, because as usual, we were running late trying to make a plan about what we were going to talk about. And the reality is, every morning that we're doing the show at the last minute, we're in this big mad scramble. What are we going to say? What are we going to do? So the idea that we came up with that is happening right now is innovation. There's innovation in real estate. We're coming up with new creative marketing ideas, and maybe they're not new. We did them all 20 years ago, but we haven't needed to do them for a long time. So, Dean, what is the one that you think is the biggest right now?
I think that there's a variety of options out there right now, and I think being creative is really a key to being successful in real estate. Even though the market is showing signs of improvement, there's still a ton of inventory out there, and there's years and years and years of inventory that we need to move through. You have to get back on track to where we can realize some appreciation in the price. But I think it's really important these days, and certainly in my business it has, to consider things like trades and exchanges. My last two deals that I've been involved in has involved a trade of a property plus cash to purchase an upgrade. And I think that that's something that people forget about a lot. I think trades work very well in a difficult economy. And as I say, it's been very successful for us in creating deals where there wasn't necessarily something there in the first place. So trades, in my opinion, are one of the most important things to consider in this economy.
I agree with that, Dean. I think trades are important, and I think the biggest importance of it is that it's happening. For years, if you tried to get someone to say, I own a golf villa and I want to buy a Pineapple Hill house, you'd think, oh, fine, that's never going to happen, so let's not bother with it. We'll go on to the next thing. But all of a sudden, if someone, and Dean happens to have just pulled off a couple of these deals, if you take the time to realize that people have been sitting with homes on the market for a long time, so if they get now a condominium somewhere, it could be in Kanapali, Lahaina, Kahului, but they take that and then they get their house sold, so they're getting that plus cash, or even holding some financing themselves. I think in any event, the exchange trade, very important right now, and I think it is happening.
And the creative financing part of it is important too. Sellers are being very creative to offer purchase money mortgages. We have what we call agreement of sales, which wrap around existing mortgages, which is a very interesting option right now. But the trade idea is certainly a good one. I can just give you an example of one. I did have excuse me, I did have a golf villa that the owner traded the golf villa and was able to finance the balance of the amount to purchase the property. So it was $1 million purchase, the $500,000 condo and trade, and the lender financed the balance of it. So the purchaser actually did not come out of pocket to purchase this property, and I think that would go a long way for a lot of people right now. The other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly is a new concept to Maui Real Estate, and it's called co-ownership. And co-ownership essentially is a 50% interest in the property. And what we're seeing is a lot of these second home properties, particularly in our market in Kapalua, that are sitting vacant on average 300 days a year. And people have a hard time selling them because buyers have realized that they are expensive to maintain and people are not using these properties very much. So we've developed a new concept called co-ownership, which is an alternative to fractional or timeshare. And what it means essentially is a 50% interest in a property. Now, I have about $50 million of my listings participating in this program, who are people that would consider selling a 50% interest. There's a company called Co-Ownership Solutions that is spearheading this new concept. And essentially what Co-Ownership Solutions is doing is they're profiling these existing listings that I have. So they're talking to the owners. They're getting a good idea of what exactly it is that they'd be looking for in a partner, when they would be looking to use it, who would be able to use it and how to deal with a whole bunch of potential issues that come up. So as what we do as a realtor is we submit our listings to participate. The listing gets profiled, and then this profile of this particular property gets posted on our website, which is Co-Ownership Solutions. And co-ownership is co-ownershipsolutions.com, and that'd be a good place to go and learn a little bit about the concept. It's, I think, going to be a big part of Hawaii's future. It's not making as much sense right now to buy a $10 million home and only use it 2 months a year. And I think that's something that people are taking a hard look at right now. So I really believe it's a winner. I think it's something that we're going to see a lot in the future. It is very popular with sellers. I typically use the example of a $5 million home that has a $2.5 million debt. If that seller sold with 50% interest, he would clear his debt out and he would be left with only half of the cost of maintaining the home moving forward. And that's a very popular thing for a seller right now. For a buyer, you have the chance to buy a $5 million home for $2.5 million, have 6 months of use, and in all likelihood they'd probably never use it 6 months. So it's a concept that makes a lot of sense in today's economy. We have great options for different properties ranging from $1 million to $5 million. And we have financing available. We have a gentleman by the name of Stephen Mangum, who is a mortgage broker with Pacific Home Loans. He is able to get fractional financing for these types of purchases, and he's a good guy to work with and can handle all of your financing needs. But I think he has the inside track on the fractional financing. So we're big believers in the future of co-ownership, and don't hesitate to check out our website if you have any interest in that concept.
I think there's no question it's got some merit, although I also think that the people that are buying these properties are starting to come back into the market. And if only, again, doing some of the exchanges, doing some of this, ending up with some financing, I think it's a great concept, and I think Dean is right. It could turn out to be somewhat the future of some of these higher priced homes, but also we are dealing with people that probably aren't perfect at getting partners. And I think this company may be able to pull it off, but we'll see where it goes. But meanwhile, we are seeing more and more people step up that are looking at these properties again as whole ownerships. So we'll just have to see what happens. But we have, in the last couple of weeks, had huge numbers of showings. We've had some interesting price adjustments happening. We have still Dean Jim Furick's house, which was listed at $7.5 million, just having been adjusted to 6.9, and we seem to have, since we've done that, which just happened this weekend, we've had a few showings, and we're thinking that we are hitting the price range now to make that sell. So again, I think you got some good ideas there, Dean, and we probably will see it happening.
Yeah, I think there's great options out there, and certainly Co-Ownership Solutions is not trying to take anything away from selling the whole ownership. It's just giving a creative option, something a little more proactive, a little more geared towards today's consumer. And I would mention that Co-Ownership Solutions, the primary function of Co-Ownership Solutions is to profile and match sellers and buyers, and ultimately they would end up with a co-tenancy agreement that would be customized from this profiling and matching process that Co-Ownership Solutions does.
We skipped past some of